Saudi, the UAE, Egypt and Iran are responding positively to their invitation to join the BRICS group of major emerging markets. The leaders of BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China and South Africa, aim to counter U.S. power over the global economy and the dominance of the U.S. dollar in trade. And I'm joined by senior market analyst at XTB, Mina Hani Abu Agla. Thanks for joining us today, Hani. Now, what is the potential impact of bringing major oil producers, Saudi, the UAE, Iran, Brazil, together with the major oil consumers in the BRICS bloc?
We saw the last 6 countries that they joined, they have a big potential in oil, either in production or either also in reserve. They're one of the top 5 reserves in the world, either in oil and gas and other energies also. Bringing the best supplier for China, we can see that Saudi Arabia is always one of the top 3 suppliers for China and also for India. The same thing goes also to UAE and other countries in the region. I think bringing these 2 countries and 2 sides of suppliers and demand on the table, I think also this one will help in energy securities. Same like what we have seen with OPEC and OPEC Plus and supply and demand stability in the market. I think this will help a lot in energy securities.
Now, BRICS countries want to buy oil in currencies other than the dollar. It would be quite complicated to do so, to move away from the petrodollar system, though, wouldn't it?
I think we have seen this for many years, that countries are trying to be away from the petrodollars, and they're doing it like in a hard way. But in 20 years, we have seen just 10% down in the dollar reserve in the world, from 70% all the way to 59%. That means it's very hard to lose the dollar and to get away from it. Making a single currency also for this group, we have seen the head of monetary policies in the NBD, the new developed bank. He said that we might create a digital currency that it might see the light only after 5 to 10 years, and maybe we'll use it only for investment first, then we will use it for the trade balance. So I think it's very hard to replace it in the meantime, but it needs a lot of time. I think more 10 to 15 years at least.
And this is one of BRICS' goals, really, to establish the new development bank, an alternative to the IMF and the World Bank. How would this better serve BRICS' developing economies?
We have seen this bank, especially the headquarters in China, Shanghai, and also they start with a little bit capital that's compared to the World Bank. Especially they are competing with the World Bank more than the IMF. So yes, they had a lot of projects in the past. I think more than 32 billions so far in the projects, with around 96 projects in the group countries. So that means any country coming into the group, it will help them to loan and also invest in the current projects in those countries, especially the infrastructure ones. I think with their capital, currently, yes, they are not making any threat to the World Bank, but there is a study that they say in mid of 2030s, this bank, it might have a loan which is around 320 billion, which might make a fear to the World Bank that there is a competition between these 2 banks.
And China and India are already the top 2 trade partners for both Saudi and the UAE, as you mentioned earlier. Upon their entry into BRICS, will they be even more inclined to trade with countries within the BRICS bloc?
Yeah, I think they will bring them closer. I think all these countries, they're talking about energy securities, food securities, climate change issues. They have a lot of things in common. So they need to sit down and find a way to bring themselves together. I think for the long-term contracts, we know that oil and gas is a long-term contracts. For sure, they will find a way to common ground.
What about industries besides energy? How do you think that their collaborations will be enhanced through entry into BRICS?
It will enhance a lot. We have seen all these countries, it's not about oil and gas only, but we have seen Russia is one of the main producers and exporter of wheat. We have seen also Brazil in soya, and also we have seen also India in rice. They are top producers in most of the commodities around the world. So lately we have seen how UAE, with their political close to India, how they secure their rice supply. India, what they did with the rice ban lately, we have seen that. So I think when they come into the same group, we'll have a good relationship so they can do a good trade balance between them. I give you the energy, you give me the commodities, which is the wheat and rice and corn and other things.
So seemingly endless opportunities with their entry into BRICS. Thanks so much for your guidance today. Senior Market Analyst at XTB MENA, Hani Abu Agla.